Hello guys and welcome back to the Game Beans. I'm AlphaXX and today I'm going to show you Chlorobinger. All my guides will be in the description below, maybe on the annotation on the screen, or otherwise you can check www.thegamebeans.co.uk. So Chlorobinger, what's Chlorobinger? Chlorobinger is a mix of Harbinger and Chloromancer. This is mainly as a kind of a support really, and for the third boss in the Frozen Tempest. Because you need some layers of healing for some reason for that boss. It's retarded, and this is the Chlorobinger that you would have as a support for it. This can do over 6k DPS as well as 3 to 4 over 3 to 4k HPS. So it's really good for mix between of damage and healing. As you can see, my screen is fucking jammed stuff with I had a lot of things. So what do we need to make sure? We need to make sure as well. Let's go look at the spec first. We've got quite a lot into Harbinger. You can put 2 points into movement, but I've got 2 into more damage, and that's normally the 32-33 Harbinger is always the same, and then the Chloromancer, this mainly to get the maximum healing out of it and all that kind of jazz. So the main objective of this is yet again from the same as like the Chlorobinger, the Arcbinger is to use your slashing attacks, and then on the procs of Eldritch Armor, which is Eldritch Gift on whatever, to use Nature's Touch, Vile Spores, or Nature's Fury, depending on how many mobs there are and kind of style. So macros, it's going to be the normal damage one, this time without running slash. Have some other shit in there, you don't need all of it. And the other one is for healing, so this is for pure heal, so you got Whirlpool Slash, Piercing Beam, and Instant Slash, and a few more shit after it. So what is our main objective? So it's kind of depends. If there isn't much healing at this point, you're going to be spamming the Storm Fury's macro to get as much DPS out, and then use Vile Spores or Nature's Fury, Nature's Touch to heal. When it starts to come heavy healing, you want to use Whirlpool Slash. You can spam in that as you got all life spells in there. You got Lucent Slash, you got Piercing Beam, and you've got Whirlpool Slash. So on the Eldritch Armor, what are we going to use when? If there's more than 2 mobs, you're going to be using Nature's Fury for AoE, as also because there's more mobs, you're going to be doing more healing. You can either macro all these all together, but to make more room if you don't have enough space on your bar, but it's not the I can't think of the word, the best way to do it. Anyway, I personally use Nature's Touch when you get massive burst damage, and then use Vile Spores for consistent healing as you damage proc, and then the dot after it will also heal. So this is more sustained, and then on the burst damage that you can, if you know it's gonna come, use Nature's Fury. But if you get all the massive damage all the time, use Nature's Fury and Vile Spores. If you're DPS, make sure that you always have Blazing Light up, and you're also going to refresh it with Lucent Slash. Even if you're healing, it's still going to refresh it all the time, and if you're doing DPS, you're going to be using that as well. And you've got Piercing Beam, always keep that up. If you're using in the healing macro, you're going to be keeping up all the time. Also, you can switch between Charged Blade to do more DPS with your blades, and you can also switch around when you're healing to use Entropic Veils to increase your healing by, I believe it should, 16%, so that's not too bad. I believe it should have been 19, unless they reduced that, so now it's 16, so oh well. They also have the Cleanse Charge and all this kind of stuff, so this spec is quite good. You're going to be using, if you're using My Growth, you're going to use it on a proc of Eldritch Armor, and you can use Natural Splendor if there's more than one mob around. So let's go give it a go at the DPS, if we're going for DPS. I don't have my Carol alert on right now, and then I'm having a little bit of lag, but you know, we should be fine. At the moment I have Charged Blade on, as you can't see, but it's on the side, and then I'm just going for the normal Harbinger, really easy. Use the abilities when proc comes up. Refresh Blazing Light with Lucent Slash, and going for more DPS. So this spec DPS is quite good, as you can see right now. I'm doing 6 point whatever K DPS, but I'm also at the same time actually healing because I have Warful Slash in the macro. I'm using these Lucent Slash every so often, but I'm using the Nature's Touch and Vile Spores on the proc, so I can also use Wild Growth to make it instant. So this is for DPS wise, this is good, and you can switch around and all that kind of jazz. So if you're going for healing, pure healing, let's order that 6.7k there. So but pure healing, let's see how this does. I'm not too sure. If you ever want the carol alerts for what I use, just say in the description below, or in the comments below, and I'll link them. So we don't have to bother with all this stuff. You should put Vile Withering Vein on the bus as well, but you know, it's quite... I can't be bothered with more buttons, so you just move if you want Withering Vein on the bus. Make sure, there you go, Withering Vein is now on. So at the moment I'm going to use the Entropic Veil to get more heals out. I can toggle it when I have the big heals to get more, and then toggle it off. Toggle between the two, more damage and then more heals. But you know, as you can see in what I'm doing, I'm just spamming the heal, and I'm doing what, 5k, 5.2, so I'm doing still quite a lot of DPS. And in their raids, especially on the third boss in Frozen Tempest, the twins, where you're going to be split into rooms, this is still, and you're going to be having obviously support, so in raids this is going to be doing more DPS and more HPS. And so as a spec, you can also use this as a solo spec. I kind of use it now because I don't have enough room for 61 Harbinger and Chloro, so I have to use this instead, but it's still pretty good. I managed to pull 8 mobs and keep myself alive, so I was quite happy with that. So this spec, that's the Chlorobinger. Pretty, I had a lot of buttons if you want to go for them for the best of the best or whatever, maximize DPS and HPS, but otherwise you can just macro a few stuff together, but you know, I can't be bothered now, I'm used to it. So good HPS, good DPS, good support if you need it, so be sure to use this if you're probably going to have to use this anyway if you're going to Frozen Tempest after the Chloro Veils are fixed. So that's been the Chlorobinger. There's probably a bit more to it, but it's kind of the basics, and it's quite hard because there's so many buttons and switching around, so you'll get used to it. Good luck with this spec, and check out the guides below. They might not be up yet, but they will be out soon. See you laters.